Hi, I'm Bonnie, and I'm here with pages 14 to 19 of Turquoise Tufa's 2025 Native American Jewelry Catalog. Starting out with page 14, I have a piece that I know I'm going to immediately regret selling. This is a cuff by contemporary great Richard Chavez of San Felipe Pueblo. Richard Chavez has a background in architecture, and his jewelry is sculptural and architectural and some of the best lapidary work around. This is an earlier piece, and it came from a really important family collection. I am thrilled to have it. It's inlay of fossil ivory, coral, shell, turquoise, and jet on silver. Such a beautiful piece, and there's height to that inlay. When I put it on, it's just the kind of eye-catching piece that us native jewelry collectors love. And even though it is a very contemporary piece, it goes with all kinds of native jewelry. All kinds of different eras look great with it. The next piece I want to show you is a buckle from the same era. These came to me separately, believe it or not, but look how great this buckle looks with this bracelet. I bet he made them together. And you certainly can wear these together, or you could do something like a his and hers. She can wear the bracelet and he can wear the buckle. You have that same fantastic fossil ivory. You have shell, turquoise, coral, and the coral, if you look closely, the cuts there in those stones, the coral and the turquoise, and then a little bit of this black jet, they're almost faceted. They're so well done. Signed by Richard, and this piece is really neat because it came from Marty Strever's Indian Tree Gallery in Chicago way back when she did a show with Richard Chavez. I showed you earlier a Gale Bird and Yazzie Johnson necklace that came from another show Marty did at her Chicago Indian Tree Gallery. So some of these great pieces are finally making their way back to me and waiting for their new homes with new collectors. The next piece on this page 14 that happens to look fantastic with this Richard Chavez jewelry, this pair of earrings by Liz Wallace. These are sea urchin earrings, and they are oxidized sterling silver. They look so pretty, such a contemporary look, such a unique look with this oxidized silver. And they are on the more affordable end of the spectrum as far as what is in this catalog. So a really great piece. Also, complementing those pieces, I have a piece by Chris Pruitt that is somewhat of a sculptural silver bracelet. It is also oxidized. So look how good it looks with that. It's oxidized sterling silver. And do you notice how the bracelet curves beautifully? It kind of swoops down in the middle and flares out a little bit on the sides, and then it tapers on the inside there. A really beautiful piece. Moving to the next page, another contemporary bracelet done in an older style or an older technique. This is done by Marcus Amerman, who is a painter and a bead worker. It's just exquisite. He calls these his portraiture cuffs. And you can see this is a portrait here of a native man done entirely in beads, and it's beaded on hide. The nice thing about this, you can adjust the opening. It's a very wide cuff, and really makes a beautiful statement. I am friends with a woman who used to be Marcus Amerman's girlfriend, And when I would go over to the home that they used to share, Marcus would be on the couch with an array of beads just beading away while I was there. You wouldn't believe the amount of work that goes into this, or maybe you would when you look at it. Such a special piece, and goes with so much. Again, it does not have to be exclusively contemporary. It looks good with your vintage pieces. Really striking color scheme, and you've got little accents of turquoise in those birds there. Moving along now, I have a pair of earrings by Richard Chavez that I want to show you. These are a different era of Richard's work. They're much more high contemporary, later pieces than this and the buckle that I showed you. They're done with inlay of black jade, turquoise accents, and coral in silver. The inlay is such precision work in these, and they are done with omega clips. There are no posts here, so these can be worn even if you do not have pierced ears. I thought about adding posts to these, but they work even for my pierced ears without the posts. If you would like to have posts added on though, because you think that you would feel more secure with the posts, I can have those added. These are so beautiful. And again, they go so nicely with more traditional looking forms of jewelry like beadwork. That's why I put them on the same page as this beadwork. They also look so beautiful with this necklace, as you can see. Richard is just as precise as it gets. It's almost impossible to get his work anymore. I have a Rita Joe Cordalis bolo, as you can see, that also looks great with all of this jewelry, but I don't have it on me right now, so I'll show it to you in a later video. I'm going to skip around a little bit because I have this necklace on, so I want to move to page 19 and then we'll backtrack since I've got this great necklace on. I also have this ring on, and I believe this ring, yes, this ring is also on page 19. This is a really well done 1940s agate ring. It's a really great piece. It's just a nice deviation from turquoise that looks really good with turquoise. It looks great with this necklace, which is teeny microfine inlay. I may need to stand up so you can see this. This is by Percy Riano, and you can see here there's pipestone alternating with coral, and they are the tiniest beads, truly tiny, but goodness, I love this. If you are somebody who doesn't want to wear a big necklace, you barely know this necklace is on, but it makes a beautiful statement. And this pendant here, you see, is fossil ivory, and it has this hole drilled in it, and then it hangs from a cone. If you wanted to, you could remove this pendant and you could just have the look of the necklace. So you have two looks in one. It's really neat. Really well executed design. And this is work, my friends. This is so much work. The cones are hallmarked by Percy Riano. These Perry earrings are little repoussé sections, silver, and you could wear these with any kind of traditional necklace that you have, whether it be early, whether it be more vintagey. They will go with anything under the sun. And it's so nice to have a pair of earrings like that, because so often you'll wind up with maybe a vintage necklace and you just don't know what to wear with it. But that's these earrings here. They look, again, great with this. They look fabulous with the necklace that I just had on by Percy Riano. See, if you have a necklace like this Percy Riano and you think, what in the world do I wear with it? These pair of earrings. I try to have little bonuses for those of you who join the videos. And one of those bonuses is this necklace that I wanted to fit into the catalog, but I could not fit it into the catalog because I am limited on space. This piece is somewhat akin in style to that Percy Riano necklace that you saw, how it has these fine beads. They're not nearly as microfine as they were with the Percy Riano, but these are pretty fine and interspersed with darker shell hishi. You've got melon shell and then you've got the brown shell, and it makes this beautiful pattern. This I really wanted to fit in, but I ran out of room. And this belonged to Marty Strever, and it is just another fantastic piece. It looks fantastic with these earrings. Again, I think it looks fantastic with this bold bracelet. So there is this available, and nobody knows about it unless you watch this video. Look at it, even with this ring. It looks beautiful with this ring. Now we're gonna go back. So, oh wait, we're not quite yet ready to go back. We have one more piece to show you. Speaking of Marty Strever, this is one of her spoons. This is an earlier Navajo tourist spoon. Look how great that guy is in the spoon. It's a bird, and his feathers are made with stamp work, and then you have a stamped bowl of the spoon. Just a lovely silver spoon. Now we're ready to go back. This is a beautiful coral and turquoise and silver bead necklace. I showed you earlier that I had a necklace that was sold by Bob Bover. That necklace was 3 strands of turquoise. This is 5 strands of coral. And rather than the coral tubes, this is coral beads. And do you see how some of them are kind of red coral and some of them are orange coral? It's really a great piece, and it may have been strung at different times. I think, let's see. Yeah, some of these strands do not have tabs. They just have silver beads. Others have tabs, and then you have these beautiful elongated jaw claws on this necklace. They're the older handmade earrings. Sometimes you'll see these today, being made today, and they're not quite the same. These have little imperfections due to the handmade nature, and some of the ones that you see today are a lot more perfect than these. But the beauty of these older ones is that the turquoise has taken on a life of its own over time, which is what happens to turquoise over time. These are so pretty. I just love Dishta jewelry. I have a pair of my own Dishta earrings, and I wear them all the time. Whenever I have something kind of scary or stressful that I need to do, like maybe a doctor's appointment, I like to put on a great pair of earrings just to give me courage. And my Dishta earrings are in the rotation of the great earrings that come with me to the scary doctor's appointment. How pretty are these? They're lightweight, so even if you have sensitive ears, you can wear them easily. And they look good with this old necklace. Another piece by Perry Shorty. Perry's jewelry is, again, so great in that you can mix it and wear it with almost anything. This piece is rare. It is a coin silver ring. We always see his coin silver bracelets, stamped coin silver. This one's a ring, and you don't see his coin silver rings very often. Look at those pretty scallops with it. And again, how pretty does it look with the old jewelry, even with this old ring here. Okay, on the next page, we're getting older now. I'll have to take off this beautiful Marcus Amerman cuff to make room for the next piece, which is a very old Bogard. Look at this stone. There's no real sheen left to this stone. It's just as matte as can be, and it's on its old original leather. Let me show you the inside of it, which is pretty cool too. So in here, I don't know if you can see this. The way that it is fixed to the leather is with those strips that go through. I think that's copper in there. So those leather strips just go through the copper to keep it on there. And this is kind of adjustable because it has these ties which thread through those holes there, and then you would tie it on. It's a big statement piece. Looks amazing with everything I have on if I really wanted to go to town with this jewelry. And what's very rare about this piece, it comes with full written documentation. This shows its catalog number. This was number 2A. And then on this side, you have this whole write-up on exactly what Bogards are. And this came from Nora Hahn at the Thunderbird Trading Post in Winslow, Arizona in 1951. In 1951, she sold it as old pawn. So in 1951, it was an old piece. This could even be as early as 1910, 1920, and it is said to be a Hopi one rather than a Navajo one, which is kind of cool. We think of Hopi jewelers as doing that overlay jewelry, but prior to overlay jewelry, they were doing this very traditional style of jewelry. Something I want to say about old pawn, since this is truly an old pawn piece, is that so often you'll go online, you might go to eBay, you might go to an auction site, and you'll see everything that is old listed as old pawn. And that's kind of a misnomer because really old pawn means jewelry that was actually held in pawn for a person until they could either buy back their pawn. Say I was the maker of this, or I owned this, I would pawn this off at a trading post and I would receive some money, or I might receive some supplies in trade for this. And hopefully when I could save up for this again, I could buy it back out of pawn. If I didn't have the money, as of a certain date, this would become dead pawn and the trading post could sell it. So just because you see an old piece of jewelry does not mean it's old pawn. Okay, moving along, we're going to some old Zuni earrings. These Dishta, of course, are Zuni, but these are also Zuni. Inlay of a different sort. These are, I'm not going to put these in because I want to keep the Dishtas in. These are beautiful butterflies. And look at the detail in that inlay. You've got jet, but look at the little tiny circles of turquoise in there. Such beautiful detail in these earrings. And they look so pretty on. They look so pretty with this Bogard, which is in a butterfly pattern of repoussé. So together those look amazing. The reason though that I'm keeping these Dishta earrings in is because I want to show you this Dishta pendant that looks so pretty with the earrings. You see these earrings more frequently than you see these dangle pendants, but they're of a similar style. This is an old one. Notice how the turquoise has become somewhat variegated in color over time. And this looks striking on. I have put it on this silver bead chain, tiny, tiny micro beads, and I'm gonna sell it on here because the little tiny beads here in the chain look so beautiful with the little dot inlay in there. Let me show this to you really quickly. I may just hold it up. But how gorgeous is that look? I want to show you this adorable fetish by Peter and Dina Gaspar. He's not signed, but there are certain little characteristics of their fetishes. Look at his little ears and look at his little toes in there, sweet toes. Look at his sweet tail. He's done of natural turquoise, and notice how it's starting to turn color. And then he's set with coral eyes and nose, and look at his sweet little mouth. Really a special piece. Those of you who saw the collection of Barbara's fetishes that I did back in the beginning of the year, he came from Barbara's beloved fetish collection, and he was Barbara's most expensive and nicest fetish. Now we go back to a really contemporary piece, but it looks really pretty with this old jewelry. This is done by Yazzie, and goodness, I wish I could show you. There, look at that stone. How beautiful is that? It's so pretty. And this is a pin. It's really striking on. Again, it looks bigger than it appears in this video. And you could even wear this as a pendant, but it's a beautiful piece. One of the prettiest stones I have seen. So these Zuni earrings, like the Richard Chavez, you can wear even if your ears are not pierced, which is a big hooray. And if you have pierced ears, you can still wear them. That's something I'm learning this year, that clips are not bad to wear at all if your ears are pierced. I used to have the mindset that any clips I received, I needed to convert to posts. But that is not the case. These are really pretty. And they are in a hummingbird pattern of inlay. That design is called the hummingbird design. Look how gorgeous those are. Even, again, with this necklace, there's so much mixing and matching that can be done with the really good Native American jewelry. These also, by the way, look so pretty. Where did it go? They look so pretty. I almost put them on the page with this necklace. There's just something about it. The oval here with the hole and then kind of this oval, really beautiful contrast. This pipestone and the coral, and then these earrings. They would also look beautiful with this necklace. See that? And then we have somewhat of a similar inlay design in that it is also channel set inlay in these smaller, almost pinwheel earrings. I really love these. These are posts. So if you have pierced ears and don't want to wear the clips, these are really pretty. See that? And again, they look great with everything. You can wear them with this. You could wear them with this. This, because of the pipestone, almost looks maroon in color, which is a neat look for native jewelry. I introduced you a little bit to Albert Lee in the last video. He was so skilled, did an array of really, really nice jewelry, used high quality stones, heavy gauge silver. And this one is such a unique, cool piece. Notice those triangles he set on top of this cuff. This is a good stacker, or it can be worn alone. It looks kind of cool because of the geometric design with even this Richard Chavez here stacked with it. But yeah, notice when you're building out your collection that geometry also lends itself to different combinations. You see different designs in the different pieces of jewelry, and try out ones that you wouldn't normally think would go together, and find something unexpected and new that will make your heart sing. Thank you for staying with me through this group of pages. I really loved these pages. I think they have a lot of good, juicy stuff. I hope that you thought so too, and come back to look at the next pages too. Thanks a bunch. Bye.